That's spicy.
It's not that spicy.
With your mother?
With my mother.
One of our big wins was getting married for the third time.
It's horrible. Like, as I'm getting older, I'm getting softer, man.
Hello and welcome to CULR Coded, the podcast where we talk about life, cultures and relationships. I'm Alex.
I'm Afsa.
And today we are going to talk about a new year, new us. No, I'm completely joking, obviously we're not. But we are going to be reflecting on the year that has happened briefly and then talking about our goals for the year ahead.
Definitely. First of all, we would like to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you supporting us with our content on all different platforms. We are eternally grateful. But yeah, it's been an amazing ride in 2024.
We've had a lot of personal growth.
Yes, definitely.
I would describe that.
Definitely.
It's been a bumpy ride, but we are here and there have been many, many highlights. And we had a beautiful evening last night, didn't we? So for us, currently filming this, it's actually the 1st of January. Mm-hmm. And for New Year's Eve, we had a beautiful evening, didn't we? Where did we spend it?
So we spent it with family and with my family, my auntie's house. So my mum, my siblings, we all went to my aunt's house. She's got a very, very cool view of the skyline of London.
Yeah, so you can see like the London Eye, St Paul's Cathedral. What else can you see? The Shard.
Yeah.
So you can basically see across the whole of London, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, and it was our first time spending it there, and it was really, really wholesome. It was beautiful. We had very, very beautiful moments. I know I keep saying beautiful, but it really was beautiful. But yeah, it was just a good, wholesome evening full of just food, laughter, reflection.
Big shout out to Faz, as always, for cooking incredible food. She spent hours in the kitchen making chicken pies.
Baking.
Also, could I just add, I know I've spoken about this a lot before on many of my channels, but these chicken pies are not normal chicken pies. They're spicy.
It's not that spicy, but for you, maybe.
I'm used to it now. I'm used to it now. But obviously, like when I first tried her pies, I was like, it's a pie, chicken pie. And when you get the spice, it's like your senses it's strange, but delicious. Like genuinely, it's so good. She makes
lovely.
Incredible chicken pie. She makes brownies, cheesecake. So I just want to say a big shout out to her because she put so much effort into last night for us.
Definitely.
But back to a cute moment that I know that we both feel really blessed to have been part of yesterday. Yeah,
last night it was just a beautiful moment. We all just kind of sat down. Obviously, same old family.
Watched the New Year's come in through the window and on TV at the same time.
Exactly, and then we just kind of sat there. We was joking, having a laugh, and then we had a bit of a moment where we all just sat there and just had a moment to kind of reflect on everyone individually, what their top moment of the year was,
things they've achieved.
Yeah, their achievements for the year, and just kind of championing everyone and like celebrating everyone's win as little as it may be, and kind of just reflecting on how the year has been and looking forward to the following one, which was a very, very beautiful because we kind of. Everyone took turns to kind of mention it and we all clapped for every little thing.
Yeah, and also reminding each other of things that we've done. So even if that person, when it was their turn to talk about their wins, couldn't remember it, everybody else had something to say.
Everyone chimed in and everyone helped each other. Some people, because what it was is sometimes you forget, what you've been through in the year because it might have been like 8 months ago, wherever it may be.
Or it might not feel like a big deal to you, but actually to other people.
Definitely. It was just a lovely reminder that every little win is a win.
Yeah.
And not to forget about it.
And it should be celebrated.
It should be celebrated. We went from my cousin's graduation, massive, to us doing Umrah. Was beautiful for everyone starting a new venture, even if it means personal growth in doing courses or whatever it may be. All of those we celebrated, and it was very, very wholesome, very nice, and we left that evening feeling very
elated, I would say.
Yeah, very happy, elated, very content.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I'm feeling that genuinely really blessed. I think it's so beautiful to be around people that love you and care about you, and I think sometimes as well, I just want to mention this, there's a lot of pressure on New Year's Eve to go and do things like, if you're into that, to go out or to go and celebrate it in a certain way or go and do these things, but actually, like for us, we never really do that.
Never.
Apart from this one where we were at Khala's house, my auntie, we've been at home for the past couple, so I think you've got to take that pressure away sometimes and just think about what actually do I want to do? How do I want to spend the new year? What do I want to be doing to bring the new year in? And that was a really beautiful moment. I'm so glad we spent that with them.
No, I definitely agree with you. We are definitely homebodies. We're not massive ones for big crowds and stuff like that. So occasionally, yeah, one-offs, it's good. But after a while, when you're in London for so long, it kind of grates on you a little bit, and you kind of want your own comfort. You want your own space, and it's fine. Like, obviously, there's nothing wrong with you going out there. But.
Yeah, and I also think it's about. I literally forgot what I was saying as I was saying it.
It happens.
It's gone from my head.
It's fine. Don't worry. It'll come back later.
Slipped away. It'll come back later. Anyway, moving on. We thought we would talk about, very quickly, talking about big wins, a couple of big wins that we've had this year, and we would also love to hear from you guys. You can write it in the comments below, or you can send us a DM or an email. We love hearing from you. We want to hear about your big wins, so please do send them, because it's so nice to hear it and to celebrate people.
Yeah.
But we're going to share a couple of our big wins. Do you want to go first? I think I know what your one's going to be. Big win of 2024.
Big win. Personally, for me, I've got a few, but one of the biggest highlights, obviously, is not too long ago as well, when I went to Umrah with my family.
Yeah.
That was, for me, one of the most special moments, because, again, I got to spend that time with my family and being away with my mother. So
with your mother?
With my mother.
I like to be away with my mother.
I don't know what happened there.
What's happened to you?
But yeah, no, like kind of being away for the first time since we migrated to the UK and going to Saudi to do Umrah.
Yeah. Made
it extra special and just brought me and my family way much closer together. So that is a massive win for me, because, again, we speak about it and, sometimes it gets put off because you have so many things on come up on your plate and you forget, and, the years keep going by, and I was so happy that...
And also to get everybody to go at one time together when you're all working is tricky.
Definitely.
And the fact you were able to do that was incredible. So I loved hearing that as well.
Yeah, and I was excited to come back and tell you. So it was lovely. It was beautiful. And I'm not going to forget that anytime soon. Obviously, the other one was finally, I know we're married already, but we made it official, legal. In the West. Yeah. But yeah, we had a wedding, our registry/wedding.
I'd say that's one of my big wins, definitely, for sure, was to do that. And actually, I was going to say get it done then, but that sounds like I want to get it done. But I'm really happy that we actually did it, because we were umming and ahhing, like, do we have a big wedding? Do we wait? Do we just spend the money? Or do we actually do something really small and intimate that actually is it does the job, but it also doesn't put us in debt.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that we did it with your side of the family as well, it just felt right.
It felt really true to us. Do you know what I mean? And when I reflect on it, there are literally no regrets. If you're thinking and you're umming and ahhing, do I have a big wedding or do I just do something really small? Yeah. We've done 2 small weddings and we're really happy with them. Obviously, we would like to have more people there, but we do hope to have some sort of big celebration in the future with everybody. But everybody will be invited.
Yeah, we'll stretch this whole period out as long as we can.
We're basically milking it.
Yeah, we're milking this.
So when we do this reflection also again in 2026.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we say to you guys, one of our big wins was getting married for the 3rd time.
It's gonna be a rolling.
Yeah, literally, and then 2027,
28 maybe.
28, who knows?
But yeah, those two are kind of jump out at me. But yeah, those two definitely.
Also, just a little small one I want to say is the fact that I overcame. I wouldn't say it was a fear, but if you guys don't know, I went to Malaysia and I went into the rainforest.
Yeah. That's big though.
It was big.
It's massive,
it was big, and I've grown to like insects. I've forced myself to like them and not be scared of them, including spiders. I've got to a really good place now. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. And then I went to Borneo rainforest, or Sabah rainforest, down in Valley with one of my best friends in August. And going there where there were leeches and there were all sorts of insects, crazy centipedes, millipedes, truly, truly incredible insects. And I actually went into the rainforest and even went into the rainforest at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
slept in some pretty iffy accommodation.
Yeah. Something out of your comfort zone.
Out of my comfort zone. And that was real personal growth for me.
And the fact that you were so worried about it before you went, and I was the one that was kind of saying you'll be fine, and you went there and you kind of just did it.
And I think the big part of that is knowing that you can do something, and even if it makes you feel uncomfortable, actually doing it. So it's obviously the rainforest is part of it, but actually like overcoming that concern of mine, that worry I had.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. That's quite big.
You handled it like a champ, honestly. You did amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
it's now a good memory that makes me laugh.
No, definitely.
But no more leeches ever, please. In the future. Bye.
No. Well, you never know.
Do they have leeches in Bangladesh?
Of course, yeah. Anywhere it's like very... I'm sure they have leeches. Yeah, they do have leeches. I remember when I was younger, I saw leeches.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's like more...
But we're not going to go into the rainforest in Bangladesh.
No, not rainforest.
Yeah, not rainforest. We're not going to go into the bush.
Certain rivers might have leeches. But that's more in the country, like the villages.
Okay, fine.
Do you know what I mean? So
if you guys know about any of these, let me know, because I need to avoid them when we eventually end up in
You won't be in a fukri or anything like that. That's where they mainly like... natural ponds and anywhere there's... Do you know what I mean? It could be there. Because that's what I remember when I was younger. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. But anyway.
But moving on from the leeches.
So we was talking about like New Year's resolutions and what we think about that kind of concept of having a resolution. And we always we spoke about how New Year's resolutions are kind of one of those throwaway things you kind of say, but you don't really mean. And it's just, I'm going to try do this, or I want to be this. And not a lot of people stick to it. Mm-hmm. So we don't really kind of look at it that way. We kind of we point out 3 main things we really want to accomplish over the years. Again, it's not similar to what you'd say a resolution, but these are more...
They're like long-term goals, aren't they?
Long-term goals and things that we definitely possible to accomplish. We're not going to kind of say something that's kind of way out of our comfort zone that it might never happen. Things that we can definitely work towards.
Because I think I think the good thing about the new year is the fact that it's almost like this chance to start again. And as much as people say, I'm not going to do a New Year's resolution or, whatever, or they are going to do loads, actually what it is a really good time to do is just reflect and evaluate the year before and think about everything that's happened in your life. And then think, okay, moving forward into this new year, this like fresh start, I know it's not technically, but it is like a new year. What do I want to take forward with me?
Definitely.
And I think that's where the benefits are.
No, definitely.
So I think that's what we do, isn't it?
No. Yeah.
We do have kind of like I do anyway, have a bit of like a mood board of things I want to achieve, and they're not like materialistic things, they're like goals. Because
No, again, definitely. So after reflecting on what obviously we spoke about last night, we also spoke about what we would like to accomplish and what we have in store for us, like for this year. I was going to say for the new year, for this year.
So we've whittled it down to 3 each.
3
because there are more, but three major things.
3 major things that we... Things, yeah. No, 3 major things that we would love to kind of work towards. We're not giving it a time, a time scale, but we want to kind of start accomplishing now and hopefully implement that in our life, so it's a long-term thing. So also reflecting, you kind of realize where you are failing in or where you kind of maybe not hit the mark, and then you can kind of work on it for 2025. So for me, I came up with 3, and those are, one of them is kind of cutting out bad habits. Like every New Year's resolution, you kind of reflect on what you've kind of possibly not done very well and what you want to kind of work on. So my first one is putting things off. I'm really bad at that. So when we was reflecting, I realized that even if it's a small thing around the house, and I just like, I'll do that later. From like folding your clothes after washing and not, I'll do that later.
I'm thinking about the fact there's loads of washing on the bed that I need to fold now.
But it's those little things that when I see it, I'm going to actively try and do it straight away. As soon as I notice something, I'm going to try implement it and try work on it straight away.
Can I just add to that one as well?
Yeah, of course.
I hope you don't mind me saying this.
No, go on.
But sometimes I think we've spoken about this before, which is why I feel okay to say it. Sometimes you put things off, like big things off, through the fear of failing.
Yeah.
You do that.
No.
And often you'll be like, that's fine. I'll do it later. Or no, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'm going to go for that. And it's like it's almost that fear of failing. And I don't know if this is from school or what it is, but there's something that you do, and I think you're recognizing that more.
No, 100%. I think it's fear of failure. I think everyone kind of suffers with that a bit. It kind of sticks in your mind. Fear of disappointment. So I don't want to disappoint people or yourself. Or myself. definitely. And that does play a massive part. Again, it's always been a thing for me. I've kind of, like the more I talk to you, I kind of like we're not afraid of kind of pointing out each other's kind of things that we might be
patterns, I guess.
Patterns of behavior. Not in a rude way, but we kind of discuss it and
it's like constructive because it's about growth, right? So if you don't know that you do that thing, you're always going to say, oh, I can't do that thing. Yeah. But if you realise and recognise that pattern, then you can do something about it, you can change it. And it wouldn't be like, I wouldn't just go up to him and be like, oh, by the way, you obviously have a fear of failing.
You always do.
You always have a fear of failing. It was like, okay, we had like a gentle... and also this is through years of having conversations like this.
I completely agree with you. That is a massive issue for me.
But you're overcoming it.
No, I am.
And also, guys, can we just say, the fact that you're even seeing Afsa's face on a camera and regularly, and he's like an active participant in a lot of our socials, a lot of our podcasts. Like he has a lot of the ideas and often will support me and encourage. And this is very much a joint venture. The fact that he's even on camera this time last year, he was avoiding being in any of my videos. He'd have to stand off to the side when I film myself and we just have his voice. So even that is a massive, it's huge for you.
No, it is. I'm getting more comfortable. But again, I get the confidence to go on because of you. Because I feel like we work very well together. We balance each other out. And again, we hold each other accountable for certain things. And we're open to taking constructive criticism of each other, from each other as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's not, we never take anything to heart, you know? If there's any issues, we work on it and we find a solution.
The intentions are good, aren't they?
Exactly. And I know we're on the same team, on the same page, so it's good.
Same page.
The other one was be a good example, which I mean, like, let me expand on that.
Yeah, because that's quite vague. Like, what does that mean?
I've always kind of used that throughout my life, tried to be a good example to people, especially obviously my siblings, my cousins, my mum. You just try be a good representation of how an older brother, how a son, how a husband should be. So always be open to listening, understanding, and not just jump on and just, just not react without understanding a certain situation, and doing things that are going to be beneficial for people around me. I'm not going to be selfish. I'm going to be a good example. I'm going to show people, lead by example pretty much. Do more charity, just be a better human, So yeah.
I think you do a lot of those things already. Like Afsa is the kindest person ever. He just wants to help everybody and often to the detriment of himself as well. Like he would give his last penny to somebody if they needed it. That's the kind of person Afsa is. And I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah,
and you care a lot about people. He has a very big heart. And I think as you're getting older, you're getting
softer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting softer.
But I love that. I think it's the sweetest thing ever, and it gives me so much joy. Sorry, I keep...
No, it's fine. No. The thing is, I was saying, like, we spoke about this the other day. When we first started to talk and stuff, I'd hold my cards close to my chest. I would never, never get emotional or try to hide it or whatever. Now, everything sets me off, man. Yeah. It's horrible. Like, as I'm getting older, I'm getting softer, man. It is true. I think
that's beautiful.
No, it's cool. Like, I don't mind.
There's no shame in it because actually everybody feels emotions. It's actually so important to actually feel them. But yeah, that is actually so funny, isn't it? I vividly remember when we first started talking how like you just would not talk about anything to do with emotions. It was like this like brick wall, and that's so weird because I hadn't even recognised it until that moment when you just said that. Then I had not even noticed that.
Oh, also, I remember you played a massive part in this when you said, I used to be a good listener. I thought I was, okay? And I remember I would listen to, I'd never really understand you. And that was my duty, but I feel like lots of men do that. And then you told me one time, sometimes you just need someone to listen.
Yeah.
And it's those little things that kind of be like, oh, okay, I kind of reflect on myself and those little behaviors I have. Mm-hmm. And I realized like, I always put on that front of like, okay, I could fix it, leave it to me. Emotions are ways, like, like you might be really emotional about a certain situation, and I'm automatically thinking of,
How can you fix it?
Get
How can you
over
solve
it. Let's get over this moment and
Yeah.
we'll fix it. Not understanding about your true feelings. And that's kind of made me kind of look internally as well. Like, why am I being like that? There's no point like this. It's a bit, it's a bit silly, isn't it?
And also, like, you have to feel the feels,
Of course.
You've got to feel the feels, you've got to let them out. And then once they're out, then you can think about solving it.
But
it's also that I think it validates somebody. If somebody is upsetting, you say to them, like, I understand where you're coming from.
Exactly, yeah.
Rather than saying, okay, well, what can we do to sort this out? Actually, in that moment, sometimes they just need that validation. And then when they're in the right state, then you can move forward. But I do think that second resolution that you said about, being a good example, you definitely are that. And you make me really proud to be your wife. Sorry for the cringe stuff, guys, but just had to say it. I'm really proud, and I only know that will continue to grow and develop.
God willing, yeah. Oh, thank you.
Inshallah.
Moving on. The third one that I mentioned, number 3. Do you
remember this one?
I think I remember this one. Oh, yeah. So, since COVID, I feel like I've kind of it's done my growth in my personal and career, like my professional life. And I've kind of like gliding through it. So what I want to do in the coming, not just in 2025, in the coming years, is find something that I really truly want to dive into and really enjoy. I want to find something that I enjoy, something that I feel like I can make into a long-term career. Either it being on the social media side of things, either it being on a what you say 9 to 5 or whatever it may be, because sometimes I do like structure as well. So yeah, I'm going to look into.
You like things that like have like I don't know, like clear paths. So like, for example, like data analysis. You love stuff like that. You love analysing data. Or like if I ever talk to him about like, okay, well, let's look at our finance. We talk, and we do need to do a podcast on finance actually, because I think it's so important to be financially literate. So if we talk about anything to your finance after, it's like, okay, let me get a calculator out. And he's like organising things and getting things ready.
I love all of that stuff, yeah.
But can I just give a bit of context around your career? So I hope you don't mind me saying.
No, go for it.
After, when he was really young, he was eldest in his family. And obviously there were a family that have migrated from Bangladesh to the UK. And you wanted to retire your dad so that he wasn't working. He was working really long hours in a restaurant as a chef. And that was your main goal, to kind of like support your family, because his siblings are a fair bit younger than you. Some of them are a fair bit younger than you, and that was your main goal.
I think what it was, that was definitely my main goal. But it's like going through the schooling system, I didn't feel like I could succeed. I don't know why. I just felt like, it just wasn't for me. Sometimes it just doesn't work for you, and it wasn't. Yeah, and I felt like
I think that's that thing we were talking about earlier about that. You feel like you're going to fail? Yeah,
no, definitely. But personally, I didn't know if I wanted to go to university. I didn't know what I wanted to go into. I didn't really have much guidance. I didn't really I didn't have many people that I looked up to as a path. What's up? Oh, just picking the hairs out of my beard, thank you. Cat fur, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, as I was getting older, I got to a pivotal age where it's like either uni or I work or do a course or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could see my dad getting to an age where he was really, he's getting a lot older. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I wanted him to enjoy life a little bit more, kind of.
And he was working hard.
He was working hard, and trying to support a family of, 5 is going to be tough for anyone, and especially at his age. So first thing I said, it was a very hard conversation, a tough conversation I had with my parents, but I told them I'd rather start working and contributing to the family and potentially helping my siblings to take the path of university or wherever it may be. They weren't happy, like any Asian family, but they understood. And then I started to work, and then I picked up a job, then it turned into 2 jobs. And then there was odd things on the side. And then, anyway, that's the story.
But because of that, you haven't really got a career that you like.
Not special.
Not specialist.
Yeah.
And I think it's now an opportunity for you this year, 2025, to find something. Yeah.
So that's the goal. I'm going to look into something a little bit more specialized, hopefully, and maybe jump into that career and see where that takes me. So
that's exciting.
We'll see that recap, and I'll let you know how I get on with that. Hope I don't put it off like 2024. But yeah, that's mine anyway. I feel like they're very, very accomplishable.
Yep.
I feel like, but again, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a long-term goal.
Exactly, and we were talking about earlier the fact that sometimes New Year's resolutions, which is why we prefer to call them like goals or like what we want to kind of achieve. There's New Year's resolutions. It almost feels like there's like a success or fail.
That's
like you're either going to succeed or you're going to fail. You're going to do well or you're not going to do well. And it's like there's no in between. Whereas if it's like a goal that's long term and you're thinking, okay, I can make progress towards this. Next year, even if after say hasn't changed his career, he can say, well, actually, I've got like new skills in this, new skills in that. There are always ways to improve things. And that's, I think, why we prefer to use the word goal.
Yeah, exactly. And then even if you've started that goal and you might not be exactly where you want to be, but the next year's goal could be, okay, I'm in it. Now I want to try progress in it.
Yeah.
So nothing's a failure. As long as you take that leap in looking into it, that's a win straight away. You know, so there's no failure. So that will encourage you. And yeah, we'll recap on it and let you guys know on this journey and where we are. But yeah, enough about me. I've told you my 3. What about you?
Okay. So obviously the teacher in me.
Yeah, go on.
I want to expand my knowledge. I love learning, and nearly every year I always do something like a course. I'm always learning anyway. I love to read books. In fact, hang on, let me reword that. I love to listen to books. I'm actually not a reader. I love to get knowledge, but personally, I love to listen to books. I feel like I retain the knowledge a lot better.
You do.
And I talk about it and like I vividly remember. Whereas if I read it, I get very distracted. And I find it hard to concentrate. And I've got a book there that I really like, but I still haven't finished it yet. Whereas if it was an Audible book,
you can have it on,
I would have listened to it. So I'm an avid listener of books, is probably what I should say. So I love getting new knowledge. I love learning new things. I love doing different courses. So I'm always learning. But every single year, I'll make sure that I do a new course of some sort to learn a specific skill. But often like trying to learn things off YouTube, like we love doing that. For example, the other day, I learned how to take an oven door off. Didn't know how to do that before.
Yeah.
No, now know how to do that, and it's actually quite easy. Putting it back on, however, that was a challenge.
Let me give you your flowers. One thing being with Alex I've learned is she doesn't stop, and she's constantly looking for the next challenge, the next thing that she could, even though it's nothing that she's ever dived into. Like being with you, you've learned how to create your own website. You learn how to register a company and everything. The thing is, once you focus on something, you're in it, like fully. You fully immerse yourself, and you know everything about it, which is so inspiring, and it makes me want to kind of follow your lead, and dive into something that I can kind of focus on. So it's pushing me as well, seeing you do these things, and like whenever you get your head into a book, but you don't.
No, I don't. I get my ears into
an audio book. And when you come back and you're kind of like throwing all of these things at me about what you've just learned from the book, again, I'm like, I can tell like you feel like I feel very immersed from what you're saying because you're so enthusiastic about it. Like you retain it a lot more. It's really good.
And this is your sign. If you don't like actually physically reading books, get into audiobooks, because the amount of knowledge that you can gain from them is truly incredible. And it is, the options are out there. Do you know what I mean? So that I want to really just to continue to expand my knowledge, particularly around business and finance. Coming from like the families that we come from, we don't have that, huge inheritance that's going to come to us. We make things for ourselves and do things to push ourselves forwards. And, we want to grow something together where we can support ourselves and our family and retirement and all of that kind of stuff, thinking ahead all those years. So I definitely want to expand my knowledge around that. And just general knowledge about everything, like just learn more things.
Learn more things. Yeah.
The next one, I actually think it's just such an important one that sometimes we forget. I really want to nurture relationships with everybody. So this is talking about, of course, it goes without saying, nurture my relationship with you as my husband, continue to grow that. We often forget that relationships actually take work. It's not just out there just going to tick along. You actually have to nurture them and support them and reflect on things that you've done and improve them to keep a relationship strong.
Definitely.
So, and that's not just talking about a relationship like ours. This is talking about relationships with like family, with friends, professional colleagues, all of that kind of thing, I really want to continue to nurture and get better at nurturing relationships. So actively making more time for my family and my friends, doing things for them. One thing I really want to work on is like remembering things that people tell me. So for example, if they tell me like things that happen in their life, like making sure I remember it so I can go back to them and talk to them about it again in the future. Because that really annoys me, because I'm like, oh, they told me that one thing, but I can't quite remember what it was. And that's so important to me because it's part of that building of that relationship and building of trust. So yeah, I want to nurture my relationships across the board.
Love that. And also, just wanted to touch on it, because I mentioned a lot about family and being a good son. But yeah, what you've just mentioned, it kind of triggered I want to continue, I want to be a better friend and try connect with my friends a little bit more in the coming years, because the year that has gone by, we've had so much going on. Sometimes you kind of forget that, let's check in on some friends.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's a very good point. So I want to try be a better friend as well. We will try be better friends to our friends and try.
I think, do you know it's really interesting that you said that, because I think sometimes if you don't hear from a friend for a while, or you have a particular relationship with somebody and you feel that they're neglecting that relationship, sometimes they have things going on in their life. And so it's really hard to take a step back and think, okay, yes, they might not be being their usual self or whatever, but actually is there something that's going on for them that I can help them? And you're really good at that. When you notice that your friends are a little bit quiet, or you haven't heard from them as much, or you know they're not as keen to do things, you're really good at checking in with your friends, and that inspires me a lot.
I think I try, but obviously you can always be better. 100%. Like sometimes, you know, things come in your way and you forget, but I do try. Like like I said, if someone's very quiet in a group chat or there's no interaction, I'll message them directly just to see how they're doing. Or if it's a friend that I haven't spoken to in a while, I try, if I have the number or whatever, if I can try contact them, even socials, just say how they're doing. And or if I see a worrying post from someone, not worrying, but a little questionable post, I'll automatically see if they're okay. I'll try. I'm not the best at it, don't get me wrong. There's loads of friends that I haven't spoken to in a while, and that's on me. But again, going forward, I'm going to try to be a bit better.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to try to be better.
And also, thinking about nurturing relationships, also nurturing new relationships. Because I don't know about you, and maybe you guys listening, but as an adult, it's really hard to make friends. Or maybe I find it really hard to make friends, I don't know. But I really want to be better at reaching out to people and actively making new friends. And kind of introducing myself into new circles and things that make me feel a bit uncomfortable. Because it's very easy to stick to the same people all of the time. And you get comfortable. And especially when you're in a relationship, like we literally do everything together. Like it's actually not okay.
It's worrying, but nice at the same time.
I say it's not okay, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's fine,
But sometimes when you are in a relationship, it's hard to make friends as well. So that's something I really want to continue to do. Is obviously I do have my friends that I've been friends with for a really long time, and some new friends, but I want to continue to grow new friendships and develop those, and actively like seek people out and find out more about them. One of my really good friends, Nikah, she is so good at this, and actually she's going to be on the next podcast that comes out. So you guys will be able to hear a little about her. So you guys will be able to hear a little bit about her. But she is so good at networking and making new friends. So
she's amazing.
Take a leaf out of her book for this year. So my third one is probably a bit more of like an obvious kind of one, but it's got a few more things in there. One, I guess it's about kind of consuming. So I want to be really careful what I consume, whether that's food, whether that's things that I put on my skin, whether that's social media that I watch when I sit there like doom scrolling, which I know I do. I want to get better at doing that. But also just thinking about my overall health and well-being and making that better. As somebody that's now in their 30s, you start to... Not that... Obviously, I know I'm really young still. Like, I know I'm really young. But things start to change that they didn't when they were in their 20s. And you start to realise that how important your health is. If you neglect it in your 20s, it'll be fine. But then when you get to your 30s and then onwards... actually you have to really think about it, and I want to know the chemicals that I'm putting on my skin or the things that I'm eating. I want to eat healthier. I want to make sure that I'm doing things for my body that are going to be helping it, but also I want to get fitter and look after myself in that way. So yeah, that's kind of my third one. So it's kind of like a big umbrella term of like health. I want to improve my health.
Being mindful about
my health,
No, definitely. Like, I think that's beautiful the way you've kind of described it. Yeah, when you do kind of get into your 30s, you do become a lot more mindful. It's not just about what you eat and about, you know, just working out. That's very easy to kind of say and do, but also
like having goals about being really skinny or like losing weight. New Year's resolutions do not always have to be about your diet and your weight. Like, it's so important to have health in there, but think about it more holistically.
Yeah, and then also you don't want to run before you can walk. Try implement little things that you can maintain over the year, and then let that kind of take. And then once that's kind of implemented in your life without thinking about it, then you could go on to the next thing. So if it is 2024, I've been eating way too much sugar. Reduce your sugar content.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Yeah,
this is what I've been talking about so much. I eat obviously not just like raw sugar, but like sugary things. Yeah. I have such
You've got a sweet tooth, yeah.
It's a real problem. And it's not about the weight thing. It's about the impact that might potentially have on my health is how much sugar that I have.
The thing is, you might not see that effect now, but over like 10, 20 years, if you just mindfully, just constantly, you know, if you treat yourself to a sugary sweet or whatever, a dessert every day, it can, over a long period of time,
have an impact,
massive impact. So if it's something like that, just implement small changes, and it will be big over time. But yeah, so it's really good. But also, I like the fact that now you even check what you put on your skin products. That is massive.
Big shout out to Nikah. It's an app. It's so good. Obviously, none of the things you mentioned here are sponsored, guys. We're not at that level yet. But I'm literally just telling you because I love it. It's a really good app. It's very basic, but it works. And basically, you just scan a product, and it tells you all the chemicals in there. So it tells you, and it gives you like a percentage rating of how bad it is, basically. It gives you alternatives that you can switch the products out to.
That's a big plus with that app.
It's incredible. And like the amount of things that I've changed, like my deodorant, the moisturizer, obviously not everything, and you can't be perfect, but I've tried to change as much as I possibly can for both of us.
Definitely. And honestly, coming from someone that has very sensitive skin, it's because again, it's easy for you to see a package where it says amazing things on it, and it's and it's like,
and it says the word natural, but actually like has loads of chemicals in there,
and then all the chemicals are very, very like, it's and also, like, small text you can't see.
As normal civilians, you're not going to have a clue what any of these chemicals mean, and the app also tells you what kind of things. So it might talk about affecting your endocrine system, so like your hormones, things like that, or it might just be that it's like topically bad for your skin or whatever, and it breaks it down. So it's honestly, if you do one thing after this video, check out that Nikah app if you're interested in that kind of thing.
But you would be surprised as well. Some of the products or whatever you use, the more expensive ones have more chemicals in them. Like we found a body lotion that's way cheaper but has very natural products. Yeah. And so far it's been amazing. I've not really had any breakouts on my skin or anything like that, and it's been a massive plus. So yeah, just be a bit more, again, this umbrella term, be mindful of your health, not just what you eat, just exercise, also about what you put on your skin.
Yeah, and also I forgot to mention as well when I was talking about the health, also like emotional well-being as well is a huge one. Like we have had a really fantastic year if you think about the whole year, but there have been some really tricky times for us in that, and the amount we work. For example, it's New Year's Day, our day off, and we want to be doing CULR Coded because we love doing this.
Yeah, definitely.
But sometimes you're going to get burnt out as well. So that kind of health thing is also talking about mental well-being and like making sure you take time to reflect and support yourself. And if you need a little bit of a breather and saying, actually, I need a break. Like I actually need a break now. I'm at that point now where I can feel myself burning out. I need to take a break. And what things you can do before you get to that point to not get there, basically.
Because once you're in there, it could take a while for you to get out, and again, there's nothing wrong with it. You take as long as you need to, get out of that space. If you're not in that mind frame of I need, to be creative or be very productive because you're burnt out, take a step back. Yeah. Again, if you're lucky enough, like us, like we have each other to kind of bounce off and talk about these things. Take time, talk to each other. If you can see that person really burning out, then you can kind of take them aside, talk to them. If you don't have that, there's loads of resources online. You can talk to people, people that you can call, like Samaritans. If you're really mentally drained and you don't know where you're going, or if you're not in the right place, so reach out to someone.
Reach out. It's not embarrassing, or talk to somebody that you trust. It's so important that if you're in those times that you don't. And so I think also, I know from experience when I've been in those times, it's almost like you want to like protect yourself and kind of like stay in there and not talk to anybody about it and kind of be very introverted. That's how I feel, probably not everybody's experience, but I actually think the best thing that you can do is like the exact opposite, and that is actually to speak to people about it.
Definitely.
So find someone, and if not, you know, reach out to some resources. There are free ones out there. There are ones that are paid. There are options, and I think it's just so important, especially I think this time of year can be a real challenge for people.
It's a lot of pressure.
The festive period particularly, and then moving into the new year, the dark, especially in the UK, like the dark, cold weather, it can have quite an effect on people. So I think it's really important to...
And again, when you're reflecting on the past year, you might have not hit your targets or you might have not hit your goals. That could be a massive... it could play a massive factor in your mental health, massive. And you know, I mean, you might be going into the year, and again, the darkest days are coming in January, and you know, it could really affect you mentally. So if you do feel like that, again, coming from an Asian man, South Asian man, a man in general, obviously, there's a lot of stigma about mental health, anxiety, and all of that. Honestly, it's all nonsense. If you do need to talk to someone, reach out and talk to them.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I would be in that place where, you know, I'd feel embarrassed to kind of talk to anyone. But as you get older, you realize it's a load of nonsense. Don't listen to what the media and what people say, all these alpha males. Forget all of that nonsense. If you need help, go reach out to someone. And honestly, you would thank yourself later on in life.
Absolutely, 100%.
Massively.
100%.
I love having these moments because it's like you end up kind of going a little bit deeper than what you're meant to kind of have these kind of deep conversations.
We always have like specific things that we know we want to do in our podcast and talk about, but often we go on a tangent. But I hope that you guys can kind of see things that are really important to us and that we want to bring into the new year. And I hope that all of you listening, and even if you're not listening, but I just want to put the energy out there, that everybody has the most incredible 2025. And if tough times come, that you are given the strength to overcome them. Definitely. And that you have the opportunity to grow as a person. And sending all my well wishes. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you guys want to help us with one of our New Year's goals, and that is to continue to grow our socials, you can subscribe, follow, find us on our other socials, Alexandra Rose Diary, CULR Coded, CULR Coded. That would help us achieve it, and also means that we can then continue to make content just like this.
Definitely.
Have a beautiful 2025, everybody. Sending lots of love. Bye.